Let's get straight to it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Elamar Deshay, and I am Iowa's finest. I said Iowa, Iowa, not Ohio, not Idaho. No, I'm not from the land of potatoes, and I put an emphasis on that because I'm currently living in Florida, and it blows my mind how many people do not know where Iowa is and do not know what it's known for. All right, clearly they're banning geography like they're banning critical race theory, but that's another discussion. Don't crucify me in the comments now, okay? So, like I said, I'm from Iowa, land of white folks. All right, shout out to all my white folks. I got love for y'all. All right, my grandma is white, but she's not just a regular white person. She's real white. She's powder-skinned white. My grandmother is like a vampire. She cannot go outside in the sun. She will burn like bacon. No joke. My grandma will burn the fuck up. All right, so growing up in Iowa, I didn't know much about the outside world. Honestly, it was like 5 years ago where I learned that there was more states than just like Illinois, Missouri, and Minnesota. And the moment I learned that, it was like my whole world changed. All right, so once I learned that, I quickly realized that I had to get out of Iowa. Like I said, I'm from the land of white folks. Nothing wrong with white folks, but clearly I'm not that fucking white. All right, so when I was about 22, 23, I just came up with a plan, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to move. Didn't know where I wanted to go. All I knew, really, I had heard about two places, right? Two places that I thought sounded interesting to move to. That was Texas and Florida, right? So in 2021, I had $1,500, and I knew two people that lived in Texas. So I hatched a plan, and I moved to Texas. But I only had $1,500 and an old-ass car that is 2 years younger than me. I drive a 99 Buick LeSabre. Her name is Tracy Chapman, and she has some issues. She has some blemishes, all right? And what's wild is a month before I decided to move to Texas, my car broke down right in front of my job where I was making $10.50 an hour. You want to talk about embarrassment? Oh, yeah, I felt it. But, hey, I still had big balls. So I was like, that ain't going to stop me. I'm still moving. So June 6, 2021, I packed up my whole life and $1,500, and I moved to Dallas, Texas, where I moved to Oak Cliff. If you know anything about Dallas, if you don't, I'm going to tell you a little bit. Oak Cliff is the fucking hood, all right? Depending on what part of Oak Cliff you live in, I'm not from Dallas, so if that's not the worst part, then I could be just full of shit. But when I moved down there, I would tell people that I'm not from there and I just moved there, and they would look at me like I'm fucking an idiot, and they would ask me, why did you move to Oak Cliff? Because I knew somebody who worked at an apartment, and this apartment happened to be on Camp Wisdom, right behind or right across the street from the Redbird Mall. That's all I'm going to say about that, right? So the beautiful thing is, I know I'm moving very quick in this story. I will piece all this together later, but I have to keep your attention, so I have to get straight to the point. Quick and efficient like my stroke game. Bear with me, right? So I lived in Texas for 6 months. While I was there, I quickly realized that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing with my life, right? But one thing that I did know is I got very friendly with the people that lived in my apartment, right? First of all, when I moved in, I had roaches. Never experienced roaches before because in Iowa, if you have roaches, your house just needs exterminated. All right, the whole house. Just get rid of the whole fucking house. But in Dallas, what I learned, roaches are like house flies. You just get them. It don't matter how clean or dirty you are. You're just going to have a couple roaches. Depending on if you're real dirty, you might have a lot. But if you're not, you're still going to get them, right? You can't stop them. The weather is perfect for them. Breeding ground, they're everywhere, all right? I didn't know that. So I thought that, like, shit was over with, right? Had roaches, right? Never experienced that before. And I quickly learned that the people next to me were squatters, right? I never experienced no squatters before who smoked crack cocaine. Yo, I'm not making this shit up. I moved from Iowa, a town of 3,000 people, 12 hours away, to a city that I've never been to, and I moved to the fucking hood, right? I lived in Oak Cliff. It was a beautiful experience, right? So the people next to me were squatters. One of them smoked crack cocaine. And I got friendly with the guy that lived under me, who was an alcoholic. I don't remember his name, but he was super cool, right? And then about 4 months after living there, one day he just disappeared, right? I didn't see this dude for like 3 weeks. I see him again and I find out that the dude had diabetes and wasn't taking care of his foot, and they cut his fucking foot off, right? I'm not joking, right? I live next to some squatters. One smoked crack. The dude under me had diabetes. He got his foot cut off. While I was down there as well, I had a lady who was old enough to be my grandma. She looked like she was in her 70s. She was a corner worker. If you don't know what I'm saying she was a prostitute, right? So where I'm from, chivalry is still a thing. You know, manners, country, shit like that. Good country boy. Yeah. So I see this lady standing at the corner, and I approach her in my car, right, because I'm crossing into the intersection. But she looks like she's about to walk across the street. I roll down my window and I say, "Ma'am, are you crossing the street? Because I can back up." She looks at me and says, "No, baby, but do you want some good head?" Excuse me? That's what I said. I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "No, baby, I'm not crossing the street, but do you want some good head?" I thought about it for a second, and then I was like, "Nah, baby, I'm good. Thank you. Have a nice day," right? While I was in Dallas, y'all, that's not the end of it. My car, Tracy Chapman, that I told you is very old, broke down 3 times. So all the money that I was saving it was like anytime I had a little bit of money stacked up, damn, Tracy Chapman broke down. The battery died, right? Got to get her towed, right? The bottom of my car was so goddamn rusted, I had to get the motherfucker replaced, right? The whole bottom of the car. They was like, "Nah, we got to rip the whole bottom out," right? And then I had a fucking hose burst. Anyways, my car broke down 3 times. To top it all off, I got into a goddamn accident. Somebody hit me and ran in the middle of a goddamn intersection in Dallas. They took off. They fucking hit me. I did a 360 in the middle of an intersection, and they took off, right? That wasn't even the final straw. The final straw that broke the the camel back, I got scammed out of $750 by a gypsy at the gas station for some fake gold. He got me. At this point, my car had broke down. I was already fucking broke. I had racked up credit card debt. I must have just had fucking gullible written on my forehead, because this motherfucker gave me the best story in his life, and he used his daughter too, right? He had a little girl with him. They gave me this crazy story that they had to get to California to get to the embassy, and he gave me some fake gold. It looked real. I gave him a bunch of money, $750, and yeah, I found out I got scammed because Sonny at the mall tested the jewelry for me, and he showed me it was fake. So after that, y'all, like I said, I'm gotta get to the story quick and efficient, like my stroke game, or you're just gonna skip right through. I'm gonna tie all this together in later episodes. I'm giving you an overview of who I am and where I'm at, right? So after this, in June of 2022, I said, "Yo, I'm fucking broke. I'm fucking sad. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lonely as hell." So I took my ass back to Iowa. I thought at the time that was a great thing to do. I wouldn't say all that now. I went back in the middle of fucking January. Sorry, I didn't mean July. I meant January. I forgot that January is damn near one of the coldest months of the fucking year. So I went from living in goddamn Dallas, Texas, and moved back to Iowa. And I knew I hit the Midwest when I got to Missouri, and I went into the first Casey's that I saw. If you know anything about Casey's, if you're in the Midwest, go to Casey's, get you a piece of pizza and a donut, all right? When I got to Casey's in Missouri, I must have been in a goddamn sundown town, all right? Because I walked in there, and I heard people talking, but the moment I opened the door, all eyes were on me, all right? All the little white girls that was working in there turned and got real fucking serious, right? At that point, I was like, "Nigga, I'm just going to get my gas, and I'm getting the fuck out of here," right? And I forgot how fucking cold it was. When I hit Missouri, I think it was already like 30 degrees. And I wasn't even back in Iowa yet, but it was fucking cold, right? Short story short, y'all. I ended up going back to Iowa. Life kicked my ass for about 6 months. I worked at some bullshit jobs. I was making pizzas, first of all, starting off. I was making pizzas for like $11 at Casey's, right? I ended up quitting that motherfucker because they tried to say that if I kept taking the donuts and eating the pizza, they were going to charge me with theft. Would you believe that shit? I'm making pizzas, but you're telling me that you're going to call the police if I keep eating the pizza. At that point, I'm just like, fuck you. All right? So after being back in Iowa about 6 months, I get the bright idea. I'm like, I got to do it again. All right. I took some losses when I was in Dallas, what I thought were losses at the time, but they turned out to be some of the greatest lessons that I ever will learn in my young life this far. I said, I cannot stay in Iowa any fucking longer, right? Because if I stay here, I got a few options. The first option is to start selling cocaine like everybody else, all right? A lot of people do cocaine where I'm from, and a lot of people try to sell it. I'm not that good of a salesman, so I was like, not really my thing. And everybody was telling on everybody. You couldn't even trust the person you were buying the cocaine off of where I'm from, because he'll snitch on you. Real shit. You think I'm lying? Do your research in Iowa, southeast Iowa. All I'm saying is people move weight down there, up there, right? Or my other option was to go work at the goddamn local cookie factory. All right. And one thing, if you know where I'm from, I'm not saying my hometown because there'd be stalkers and shit on here, but if you can find it out, there's a cookie factory there that a lot of people work at. And I'm going to say that has to be one of the most depressing and miserable fucking places to ever work. Solely based off of knowing how many people I know who's worked there, knowing the overall transformation of that place over time. I used to live by it, and it didn't look or smell or sound the way it does now. Now it looks like a fucking prison, right? When I was growing up, I would wake up in the morning, go outside, it smells like fresh baked cookie dough or cookies, right? Now you go outside, it just smells like fucking misery and depression, all right? They're always burning shit. They got a crazy high turnover rate. You don't want to work there. That's all I'm saying. Those were my two options, sell cocaine or goddamn work at the cookie factory. Neither one of those sounded very good. I was like, yo, I'm 24 at the time, 25. I'm like, I ain't got no kids. I have a little bit more money than I did when I went to Dallas. At this point, I had like $2,500, right? So I came across a work exchange program on YouTube. And at first, I'm like, this sounds kind of like a scam. But I'm going to look into it. I'm going to sign up for it. And I'm going to reach out to a farmer in Florida. Why did I pick Florida? For two reasons. The weather, and I knew there was a lot of Hispanics and Latin people down here. I want to learn I want to learn Spanish, and I want to get around the culture. I love Hispanics. I love Latin folks. I love everything. Your music, your food, your women, everything, right? So I was like, I want to get the fuck out of Iowa, so I'm going to try Florida now. So, short story short, in July of 2023, once again, I had the bright idea to pack up my shit, all of it, into my 99 Buick LeSabre, and I drove 17 hours to a town that I've never been into, a state that I've never been into, and I ended up in Brooksville, Florida. If you don't know anything about Brooksville, Florida, let me tell you, it's Klan territory. I'm not joking when I say that. This is a known Klan territory, Klan, right? I didn't know this until I drove down here, and the person who I was supposed to stay with thought it was hilarious to tell me that the day I got here. Listen to what I'm saying. I just drove 17 hours to show up to a goddamn farm to work. And the dude who runs it is telling me this is known Klan territory. Whether that's true or not, matter of fact, I know it's true now because after living here for damn near a year now, I've talked to other people and they've said the same goddamn thing. They're like, yes, you don't want to be in that area. Okay, cool, no problem. I quickly realized I had to get the fuck out of there. I left that night. Matter of fact, I left 2 hours later. I didn't say a goddamn word. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here, right? So I end up leaving. I end up at a hotel. And the next day, I reached out to another farmer, right? This time, this motherfucker lived in a town called Old Town, Florida. I went from Brooksville, which is known Klan territory, to goddamn Old Town. I ain't talking Old Town Road like fucking what's his name. I'm talking about Old Town in Florida. This was the middle of the goddamn sticks. When I say y'all, I didn't have any cell phone connection. Not none. That's how in the boonies I was. At first, the area seemed really fucking chill. And then I went to the Walmart and I realized, oh, oh, I'm in poor white folks territory now. And this is like poor white folks. Like, you seeing dilapidated trailers and you see Confederate flags every fucking where. I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. So I had been there and I realized that I didn't know anybody else. I didn't know where else to even go. So I was like, hey, I'm going to have to camp out here until I figure out a plan, right? So I ended up working on this goddamn farm for about a month. Then I learned that I knew somebody who lived in Clearwater. So that's where I'm currently at, in Clearwater. That's how I got to Clearwater, right? Like I said, I know this story. I ran through it very quickly, and I'm going to tie all this back in later. But life is short, right? Maybe this will be the only, this isn't going to be the only episode, but I have to get to the point because I know everybody's attention span is in and out, right? If I don't goddamn keep you entertained and tell you some shit, you're going to click off of it, and I'm going to have to go back to my job because I'm not going to be able to be a content creator, all right? So with that being said, y'all, when I moved to, like I said, I moved to Florida for the weather, and I knew there was, I didn't even know for a fact there was a lot of Hispanics, Latins down here. So I was like, hey, anything out of Iowa was cool. I'm going to go to Florida, right? So when I got here, y'all, I live in this dope little neighborhood, right? Hispanics everywhere. Shout out to my people, mi amo, I love y'all, right? When I got here, I would see them everywhere, y'all. Everywhere. The apartments over here, they got little markets. They got a store up there I've been to. Restaurants around here, you know what I'm saying? They everywhere. Shout out to the people, right? They be doing construction and shit everywhere. But I don't know if y'all keeping up with what the fuck going on. I don't know much about the political spectrum. I guess I didn't look into it when I came down here. But whatever the fuck they got going on, all my people left. Yo, the neighborhood is empty, y'all. I'm not bullshitting when I say this. There ain't no more construction workers up there, right? Every morning when I would get up and go to the gym, it'd be like goddamn 6:30. I'd hear mariachi music and smell fresh chicharrones being cooked, right? Seeing buttloads of my amigos getting in trucks going to work, happy as a motherfucker. Now the neighborhood is like a goddamn ghost town. So what I'm saying is, whatever cocksucker is goddamn in charge making these goddamn bullshit ass bills and shit, he done ran my people out. But don't worry, because I'm going to fight for y'all. Shout out to my Hispanics. Yo, I love y'all. Fuck what they talking about, right? That's all I'm going to say. But one other thing that I have to put an emphasis on before we close this episode down is white folks in Florida are real different, right? They real different down here. Because where I'm from, white folks and black folks kind of keep their distance. And if you see a black man who seems super friendly and super giggly, he probably more or less associate with the white folks than he do with his own people. That's just what it is. There's a lot of crabs in the barrel mentality. There's a lot of coons where I'm from. That's all I'm going to say, right? But down here, the white folks is real friendly, right? Real friendly. I didn't know why at first that the older white couples are so friendly until I learned about swingers, yo. There's swingers down here. And what that means is they like to fuck you and each other in their friend groups, right? They got whole communities of swingers down here. And I'm about to share something with y'all that you're going to judge me for, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not into that. That's not my kink. I don't get down. I'm not really into sharing group activities like that. No. One thing about me, though, is I'll go watch. I will go watch a swinger party in a heartbeat. If I get the opportunity to watch one of them, I'm going to go to it. I'm not going to participate. I'm going to be a spectator, and I'm going to sit in the corner with a bag of popcorn and watch some motherfucker. I just want to do it one time. I just want to watch one time. But that's what you need to know. If you're young, handsome, pretty, and you come into Florida and there's an old couple being real nice to you, they're probably trying to fuck you, all right? And one other thing that I don't understand is so many white folks moving to Florida, but the sun is out here on a constant basis. Y'all burn the fuck up so goddamn quickly, right? Very, very quickly, right? I done seen some white folks at the beach with extreme sunburn. So my question is, y'all want to keep moving down here but can't handle the weather. But y'all want to kick out all my Hispanics who flourish in this shit. Please make this goddamn make sense to me. Because I know I know I'm not getting out here pouring no concrete and goddamn picking fruit. Fuck all that. My Hispanics, I fuck with y'all because y'all some hard-working mother people, right? Y'all will do the shit that don't nobody else want to do. So I had to refresh my computer because it was about to die. But back to what I was saying. The Hispanics people are some of the hardest working people that I'd ever met my whole life, right? Because there's some blue-collar, hard-working white boys where I'm from that won't even come down here and do the shit that y'all doing. So I just want to say, shout out to Mi La Familia. I love y'all. Fuck what these crackers in charge is trying to do and kick y'all out. Y'all welcome in my crib, right? I ain't got a lot of room, but, hey, you know, I could make something work in here. But real shit, y'all. When I got to Florida, yo, and I started like learning about the politics and shit, yo, that shit really hurt. Cause damn, like, I thought goddamn we was over with this bullshit, but clearly we're not. Clearly, you know, when you give a motherfucking cracker too much power, he want to take it all away. Y'all, my name is Elamar Deshay. I don't know what I'm doing with this content shit, but I keep hearing that if you don't make content, then you can't do shit on the internet. So this is like me. You know, in truth, I love to communicate. I guess I'm naturally a more funnier person, but there's definitely a serious side to me as well. But I'm gonna share that with y'all. You know, this is just the I'm not even gonna call this the second episode. You know, I've attempted this a few times, but yo, this is just me. Once again, my name is Elamar Deshay. I am Iowa's finest, IOWE, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Peace.